Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about how to ease the Christmas sleep stress and minimise anxiety and disruption over the holiday season. Stick with me to learn the 5 biggest causes of sleep stress at this time of year and what to do about them. The whole mission behind this channel is to help sleep coaches to excel at supporting families with responsive and attachment-focused sleep solutions. To help us get more eyes on what we're sharing and spread the word, please do hit that like and subscribe button. In case you don't know me, I'm Dr. Lyndsey Hookway, a paediatric nurse, health visitor, responsive sleep and parenting advocate, international speaker, author and researcher with 20 years experience supporting thousands of families and students. I'm the co-founder and clinical director of the Holistic Sleep Coaching Program, and I'm proud to support and mentor hundreds of sleep coaches around the world. So, Christmas is coming. The carols, the parties, the mince pies and tinsel, and for many clients, some sleep stress as well. Today, let's dive into why this season tends to be tricky for families of little ones and what you can do to support them. The first sleep struggle is that at this time of year, we tend to see more people. More people equals more unwanted opinions and unsolicited advice. This can be overwhelming and bewildering for families and lead to confusion and a pick and mix approach to sleep where parents hear snippets of multiple pieces of advice and try lots of things all at once. Now, it can be lovely to see old friends and family members you rarely have contact with. Parties and get-togethers are a really special time to see loved ones, and a new baby is a magnet for attention. This is understandable. Children make Christmas magical, and many people want to catch up with the members of their family who have tiny new little ones. That's especially true for people whose children are grown. There's a nostalgia in being around young families that reminds people of the joy of those early years. But let's be honest, when you get a mix of people, you also get a mix of opinions and parenting styles, which can be really hard to manage. Great Auntie Margaret swears by some random nap schedule that worked for her. The mother-in-law weighs in with a tip about starting solids prematurely. Your father says put the baby down. Someone else chips in with a recommendation for an expensive nightlight that apparently solved all their sleep dramas 15 years ago. But the thing is, not only does nobody else know the child like their parents do, but many people misremember the early days anyway. Odd bits and pieces stick in their memory, and these out-of-context ideas may be completely irrelevant. Advice and recommendations may have moved on, and nobody knows the setup, situation or sleep challenge like the parent does, so they're probably not qualified to give advice. So, how to overcome this one? I have 2 suggestions. Firstly, don't suggest your client starts anything new over Christmas, however tempting it may be. Wait until the dust settles and then review the situation. Secondly, while we can't do anything about people wanting to give advice and tips that may be largely unhelpful, you can encourage and empower your clients to develop the skill of the smile and nod and then ignore. The second sleep struggle is the tendency to feel judged. I still clearly remember reluctantly going to a party where my 8-week-old daughter was the only child present, so she was the centre of attention, as well as comments that were judgy and unhelpful. Is she sleeping through yet? Is she in a routine? Is she good? When will you have another one? These questions subtly imply that if the answer is no or not yet, that either the parent, their baby, or their parenting are in some way deficient or faulty. Then there are the more hurtful comments like, "Ooh, you've made a rod for your back there," when parents let slip that they're not on a schedule or they're in their bed or whatever. I genuinely don't think people mean to be unhelpful. They would probably be horrified if they realised how hurtful these judgmental comments are. Perhaps they want to be helpful. Maybe they want to show how much they know about raising babies and appear superior. Or it could be that they feel nostalgic and seeing a baby or young child has reminded them of a poignant memory. They might just not know what to say and they're trying to latch on to a mutually relatable topic of conversation. Apart from reminding clients to go into these situations with eyes wide open and putting on a tough outer skin in advance, I have a couple of ideas for managing this situation. First, you could recommend developing a stock answer to the "are they in a routine" kind of question that just shuts it down immediately, such as, "We're doing really well. We're still figuring it out and learning about him or her, and we have some great sources of support. How are you doing? People love to talk about themselves, so getting the topic back to them is always a good idea, and it gets the parent back in control of the conversation. The second suggestion I have is to act like they would be doing the parent a favour to talk about something else. Try something like, "Oh gosh, you're so kind to ask or suggest that, but you know what? I've done nothing but talk about babies for ages. Remind me what else is going on in the world. What books have you read recently? What's the latest gossip I've missed out on?" That should give them plenty of material that you can run with, and then the parent can steer the conversation back onto something less controversial and personal. Tell me, have your clients experienced the unwanted comments or that sense of being judged either at Christmas time or another season? Perhaps you have as well. Maybe that's what got you into sleep support. How did you get out of these tricky situations? Let me know in the comments. The third sleep struggle is that when families are travelling or they have visitors over, lots of decorations, lights, music, a change in their usual routine or different environments, it can be a lot for little ones to cope with. On top of this, lots of people want to hold the baby. All of this can lead to a wired and tired, overstimulated and dysregulated little person. Little ones settle best with their familiar caregivers. While it might be really meaningful and important for their 98-year-old great-grandmother to have a cuddle with the baby, it's important to remember that for babies, being passed around multiple people with different voices, smells and styles of holding can be really stressful, and a stressed baby doesn't sleep well. Now, I'm not suggesting parents hold tight to their little ones and never let anyone else hold them, but equally be wary of playing past the baby. So my first tip is to empower parents to put their foot down and say, "They're a bit rattled actually. Do you mind if I go into a quiet room and try and calm them down?" If people want to help, there are lots of ways they can do that. Holding a baby is probably the least useful of all of them. My second tip is to try and arrange it so that visitors come to the new family. If they don't have space to host, this is doubly genius as they won't be able to stay long. If that's really impossible, could they meet at a neutral location where they can be in control of when they leave? Or failing all of that, could you suggest that they develop a secret code word with their partner or find another ally who can advocate for them or make a cunning excuse? The fourth sleep struggle is that during these times of visitors or changed up routines, the usual pace and rhythm of the day can go to pieces. It's no secret that I'm not a fan of strict schedules for everybody, so I don't mean that necessarily, but our activities are different. We might go to different places or stay out in the evening. This can work really well for some families. Some little ones are really flexible and adaptable. They enjoy the additional sensory input and mental stimulation. Some babies adapt their sleeping pattern really well, and this kind of disruption to their usual status quo doesn't bother them. If that's true for your client's baby, then great. But if we're talking about a more sensitive little soul or one that likes to perceive a predictable rhythm and pace to their day, this upheaval can make them feel really rattled. If this is the case, don't be afraid to empower your client to be flexible where they can and where experience has taught them that they can get away with it, but they should hold their boundary where they need to. So if their baby will fall apart without their usual bedtime sequence, then suggest they make this non-negotiable. And don't forget, if the worst happens and they're a bit cranky for a few days, all is not lost. You and your client can get back to normal and work on it again soon. Finally, the fifth sleep struggle is that all of these stressors can add up to parents feeling like they're on show and that their baby needs to perform in some way. This can play out as explaining why the baby is cranky to Uncle Roger. "Oh, he's not normally like this, but he's getting a cold." Or excusing their babiness to some random person. "She's not quite herself today." The truth is, parents and babies are not on display. Their baby is likely behaving like a baby and doesn't need to have their behaviour blamed on colic, bugs, teeth or a bad day. But this doesn't stop parents wanting everyone to see their baby the way they see them. This is totally normal, but it can make them feel like a bit of a failure and elevate those stress levels. It can also rob them of the joy of their first Christmas with their little one. So, there are the 5 biggest sleep stresses that I see over Christmas and some practical, implementable steps that you can suggest to support your clients. And I've seen these work hundreds of times for our students. By reducing stress and increasing confidence, calm and connection, families are able to find the joy and prevent their little ones from being dysregulated, because a dysregulated baby is not an optimally sleeping baby. If you're a fan of relatable, practical and sustainable sleep support that is responsive and evidence-based, then you can book a call with a real human on our team to find out more about our holistic sleep coaching program. And if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe before you go. Until then, have a wonderful Christmas.